All right, I wanted to take a minute out because here's something I came up with. I've been using this, what I'm fixing to show you here, for probably 30 or 40, maybe even 50 years ago. I came up with doing this, and I went and bought a 3,000 watt. Shine it on the screen. Can you see it?
No, it's real white.
Can't see nothing on it?
Yeah, you can see a little bit.
Anyway, I bought this 3,000 watt sine wave power inverter, and let's see, when did I buy it? Anyway, here's a picture of it on the screen. It's 3,000 watt, and it's a pure sine wave power inverter, DC 12 volt to AC 110 60 hertz power. I paid $199.99 for it, as you can see, off of eBay. Now, we had a 2012 Nissan Leaf at the time, and I put it in the back of the Leaf, and we used it to power our house, as well as when we went out to the church. Now, here's the receipt that I got from PayPal on 9/1/17 at 10:02 p.m. So this is when we bought it. You see where how much it was paid for and everything right here on eBay. 3,000 watt pure sine wave power inverter. And now I'm going to go out here to the car and the house, and I'm going to show you what I did with it from there. Okay.
Ready to cut it off a
No,
minute?
leave it on. Now in my fuse panel here, I wanted to show you that. Here's a picture of it, and down here on the very bottom, this says a 200 amp breaker. Now you see all these breakers I've got in here, and it's a 200 amp service. You can see that. Now when I go to use this thing, it happens because the power goes off. You flip this breaker off. It has to be in the off position, or you will get hurt or mess up your car or your house or whatever. I don't know. But anyway, you have to turn it off. I've got this switch right here, as you see. It's a dryer type switch, and it's built into the house. Now I do have my charger for my car, and as you see, the wire is going through the hole right here, and I got it hooked directly into the panel in the house, and it comes out, and here's my charger for our Chevy Bolt. Right now we use it on the Leaf. It's 220. We used it then on the Chevy Volt that we had. Pop the hood for me, please. And then we used it again. You definitely got to have the keys to get in this car when you turn it off. We use it now on this Chevy Bolt. Now I'm going to show you in the car here. Okay, so here is the inverter where I have mounted it inside under the hood of the car, and as you can see, I've got the hardwired to the negative and the positive terminals, and I've got this little meter on here, and you see this meter shows I have 12.3 or 12.4 volts. Take my keys here and turn the ignition on. Just get in there and turn the key thing, punch the button. Now you have to have the car on, and now look at the voltage. As soon as you turn the car on, see, it goes up to 14.9 volts, which means it's charging the battery. Now I made these wires here, as this is it won't do your air conditioning, but it will do the other, everything in your house. So I took one of these dryer in plugs here, as you can see, that plugs into that outlet that I have over there on the wall. This is a regular dryer vent. It's 220, so that's a 110 line, a 110, and a ground up here. That's the ground, and that's 110, and that's 110. And so I spliced in 2 plugs right here. That's the one, and here's the other. Now I just leave this thing hooked up to the car, because this is where I use it. I use it here at home, and I use it at the church that I pastor at whenever we get out there and we don't have any power, because I have the same kind of plug that I have here on the wall at home, I have at the church. Now, when you plug these 2 in to the inverter here, and I plug this into the wall outlet, once the power's off inside, then we can come down here on the side, then we flip on the switch for the inverter. Now the car has to stay on, and if it goes over an hour or so, you need to come out and put the car in drive and make sure the emergency brake is on, because it'll shut itself off after about an hour or so if you don't. It'll have plenty of power. Now we used it in the Leaf one time all day and all night, and it used something like 57 miles to off of the car. We used it in the Bolt here for 2 days, and it used a little over 100 miles, because here in West Virginia the power company, I don't know, I guess they have problems keeping us in power, but it keeps going off. Now here's a picture of the car, as you can see, and I'm going to show you. We bought this car new, and right now we have got 20,904 miles on it. And there's a picture of it right there, and here's the mileage that I have on it right now. We traveled 26.8 miles since we charged it, and as you can see over here on the dash, it says we've got 266 miles remaining. Now I know this car says it only comes with 238 miles, but there you're looking at it. So it's going to come down somewhat when you run the air conditioner, and it does somewhat in the winter time, a little bit less. But right now we get well over the 238 miles that they had said this car would do. Now as far as their thing with their satellite, this OnStar up here, we don't use it at all, and that means we can't use the charging things that they have. But we charge mostly here at home anyway, and we do all of when we went on the trip there to South Carolina, you can see our video online. We went to different charging stations along and along. Here in West Virginia, I have a Purple Heart tag on my car because I'm a veteran, and I received a Purple Heart. And as you can see, it's now, as I was saying, you can see where it says it's combat wounded. Here in West Virginia, if you have an electric car, our gracious governor, Jim Justice, who the newspaper says he don't pay his bills, and he owes everybody in the country, and he's worth over $1 billion. I don't know what the deal is on all that, but I know he charges. My son has my 2012 Chevy Volt, and it costs him an extra $100 a year here in West Virginia because he got a Chevy Volt, and it's electrified. So West Virginia is gouging us for another $100 on this car, since it's fully electric, battery operated, fully electric. Then they charge us $200. But so far, since I have the Purple Heart, I haven't had to pay that. So I don't know what they're going to do the next time I I do go out to get the car tagged. The tags are good until, here you can see it on the tag, it says until July of 2025. And so we bought this car from Larry of Chevrolet over in Rittman, Ohio, because we couldn't buy one in West Virginia. Nobody had one. You can't even get it worked on in West Virginia. And West Virginia may have a few charging stations, but they'll all probably be level 2 for this car. Now, Chevrolet sent us a thing about that new app they say they have out where you can get it charged and all that, and it says put in your zip code and all that, and we put it in, and all it came up was this Tesla superchargers. And this car, you cannot charge at a Tesla supercharger. But if you want to power your house, now this is what I guess you could call not a hillbilly charger, but a mountain billy charging system. How about that? And just take these couple of wires, won't cost $25 maybe to make up these few little wires, as you can see. And the reason you have to have 2, because in your house you have 220 for the most part, and so that means you have a 110 line on each one of these, and both use the same ground. And on this inverter I got 2 plugs, one for one side, one for the other side. And so half of the house runs off of one side, the other half runs off the other side, and it works quite well. We run everything in our house except the air conditioning. We haven't even tried the air conditioner because this is not a 220. It's 2 110 volt lines, not 220. There's a difference. Just because you put 2 110 volt lines in don't mean you get 220 out, because they're both the same. So that you need to bear in mind. Now this, as I said, this inverter costs us $199, and then maybe $25 for the wires, tops. And so if you have a power outage, we don't have to run generators. This because this is a pure sine wave. See what it says? A pure sine wave power inverter. We run our internet off of it. It comes in. We run off the our fans in the house, our televisions, our computers, everything that we have in our house runs off of this one inverter. Now I don't know about the furnace because we turned it off. We have gas heat here and we have a gas fireplace, so if the power goes off, we'll more than likely, it hasn't gone off in the winter time. Yeah, it did one time for about 3 hours, and we just used a gas fireplace. So I don't know if it would run the fan on the furnace or not, and I don't think it, well, I know it won't run the air conditioning. But everything else in our house, we have a freezer on the back porch. All of our appliances are Energy Star rated. All right, hold on a second. So here in our living room, as you can see, I've got this 60-inch big screen TV, and I've got my computer on it that comes out here to the living room. I've got cameras all around the house, 8 of them, and there's a picture of our van on the front of our yard of our house here. And as you can see, here's our ceiling fan, and it's working away. Everything in our home works off of this inverter, and it runs off of our car. You do not have to run a generator unless you've been a week or so without power, and then you only have to run it long enough to keep it going. So this is our front yard here, as we have this little garden set up, and I've got this little fountain I bought from Lowe's, and it steady has water, and it has lights in it, and all of that works from as well, and everything works just like what you would think it was. And here we are. This is what West Virginia, where we live, looks like when you're standing on your front porch here looking out. And so if this looks like we're a bunch of hillbillies, and that's what we are. If it looks like we're just living in a regular median home type subdivision. That's where we live, and this is our home, and I wanted to share this with you. So all you people that are having problems about when your power goes off and you need this and that and the other, well, here's a solution. But bear in mind, make sure that you turn off that main breaker in your breaker box. Let me show it to you one more time before we end this video. Our power is on right now, but this main breaker here, it's the biggest one in the box, and it's 200 amp, and it powers our whole house. And we don't have to turn off anything in this box when we run our car. And this is right now is on the Chevy Bolt, but I used it on the Chevy Volt that my son has now. I used it on the Nissan Leaf, and it worked on them as well. So if you want to, and as you can see, here's a refrigerator that we have. It's a 26.8, I think it is. Let's see. Yeah, 26.8 cubic feet refrigerator, and it runs perfectly when we're using it. And my wife, as you see, she's got all these fancy things here in the house. Now we can't use this electric oven here or electric stove, but we have a gas stove here, and we have this little gas fireplace thing that it's a freestanding thing that we bought from Lowe's about 10-12 years ago, and it heats our whole house. If the furnace is not working, this thing will heat our whole home. And you look in our back porch out here, you can see now I've got my computer sitting here, and I've got a 8-core processor in this computer with 4.2 gigahertz of computer power. My wife has one pretty much similar to mine, but it's 4-core sitting here on the floor, and hers operates. She's got a 32-inch monitor. Now we got a tanning bed there that she uses, but we don't try to power it because, again, that's 220. But there again, like I said, everything else works on this inverter, and it works. Now maybe if we got a bigger inverter, something that we spent $800 or $1,000 on. But here's our freezer, and as you can see, it's as tall as I am, and my wife has it packed full, as you can see. So it stays on during the power outages as well. Everything that we have, we don't have to do anything but turn that power switch off. Our neighbor up the street has a generator, and when we leave the door open, we can hear it run. Well, they'll go to bed at night and have to listen to their generator all night long. Well, we go to bed and close the doors, and we don't have to listen to nothing, don't have to haul gas, don't have to do anything. Plug our car in. About 57 miles overnight, in the daytime. And I just wanted to share that with you so y'all can think about it. Why bother going through all that? Now, if you only need a few accessories in the house and you're not concerned about the refrigerator, freezer, and all that, a smaller inverter would probably do you well. And then you would have to go into the breaker and turn off the different switches. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to power everything I had, and we do that off of ours. So I hope you liked the video. Subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you.